and we'll have a couple of speakers along the way as well. Hi everyone, so my name is Stella. I'm from the Tourism Industry Council of South Australia, and I'm joined today by my colleague Jess, who's our Membership and Partnership Coordinator. So for anyone that might not be a TiCSA member, which I think most people are, but Jess is like would like to learn more. I'm also joined by Jenny Hinton from the London Finance Market and Steve Brown from Getaways Essay, who will both be our guest presenters today. So thank you so much for coming along. We'll learn a lot more about the Tourism Awards program, and I'll be in contact with you in regards to entering this year moving forward. I'd just like to start off with a video to give you a bit of a taste of what's involved in the Tourism Awards
Great to be here at the 35th State Tourism Awards. We're here to celebrate the best of South Australian tourism businesses. We've got people coming from the outback, from the far west, across every region in the state. It's so wonderful to celebrate all that hard work that everyone puts in over a 12-month period and to celebrate that industry excellence. The tourist industry and also the taxi industry has been a large part of our DNA for many, many years. This gives us the opportunity to show our appreciation of their support of our product.
Being a regional business, it's been really nice getting amongst all of the other finalists tonight, being back and enjoying what we've done in the past 12 months.
It's great from an industry perspective, but also just for our staff. It's a great recognition of some really hard work and wonderful achievements.
That gives you a bit of an overview of our gorgeous gala dinner in November of each year at the end of the program. And so in today's session, we'd like to cover why you should enter and the benefits for your business in entering the program. Also what's involved and a bit of a submission overview, which Steve will guide us through. And he'll also touch on the judging process. I'll then talk to the changes for 2021, and there has been quite a handful, so good to unpack those together. We'll also cover how to enter and our nominee support initiatives. And then we'll invite Jenny up to hear from an award winner. So to start off with, why you should enter the Tourism Awards. First and foremost, and above all else, I'm very passionate and believe that it is one of the best business development tools that we offer. Alongside accreditation, Tourism Awards takes your business development to a next level. It really allows you to review all of your achievements in the qualifying period. And this year, that is the last 2 years. So we're going to reflect on any improvements made and also initiatives introduced in light of the recent 12-month period. So that I think in itself is a great benefit to your business. And then off the back of that review, having 3 industry experts review your submission and provide a detailed report of feedback is a great tangible benefit as being a part of the program. So we'll have feedback from the site verification visit judge. Now that person is independent from the panel of 3 who review your written submission. So that site visit judge will go out and experience your product. They'll give you a solid page of feedback, unpacking that completely independent review of that customer experience, speaking from years of experience in the industry as well. And then we have a different group of 3 judges who independently review your written submission. And that feedback is worth its weight in gold. You also have the potential opportunity to receive some really lucrative publicity and exposure, especially for our state award winners, working quite closely in collaboration with SATC for a paid campaign. And this was the campaign that was run for 2019. So that was used across Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, nice little coverage there. In addition to that, there are also some blog posts that are done on our South Australian Tourism Award winners. That's featured on southaustralia.com and also in their social media channels as well. We also work quite closely with SA Life and In Daily, who quite often will do a feature and as well as an announcement through their communication channels, which yeah, it's quite beneficial just to give that exposure to your award win. Internally, we do a lot of promotion for our state award winners. A full-page advertisement in our View magazine. This was the one that was done in 2019. And quite often, the regional newspaper and publications will pick up those tourism award winners and do their own promotion at that regional level as well. So just a bit of statistics, I think it gives good weight to the benefit for your business. So some really great engagement in terms of those total media coverage stories, 52 in 2019, and excellent engagement and click-throughs on those in daily stats there, with a little bit of a touch on our social media reach and engagement for those posts on our own channels as well there. So off the back of that, being recognised as an outstanding tourism business, you know, has its own great sort of benefit in terms of your ongoing marketing and promotion to show that you've reached that industry excellence in your specific sector of the tourism industry is a fantastic accolade to achieve. And of course, all of our finalists receive their 2021 finalist logo. So those that meet a minimum standard of their submission do receive that finalist status, which is great to adopt even prior to the gala dinner to show your hard work in getting to that stage. And those finalists automatically go in the running to win the RAA Voters' Choice Award. And that's voted by the public, and we received over 9,000 votes in 2019. So there's a great bit of exposure on that level as well through the Voters' Choice process. So the medals that people receive, it's really important to note here that the top 3 highest scoring submissions in the category will be given a gold, silver and bronze win. We just have one at each winner in those categories. Those logos are delivered as well as trophies and certificates. That's correct. Yeah, so that was a change introduced a couple of years ago where we just have the one winner, gold, silver, bronze. And of course, our winners go on to represent South Australia at the Qantas Australian Tourism Awards, which is generally in March of the following year. Of course, state award winner in that excellence in food tourism category. And for some years now, we've been very fortunate to host a reception for our winners and medalists at Government House. That's to acknowledge those state award winners, which is a beautiful event, and we hope to run something similar next year. And of course, our award winners are shown on the National Consumer website, Trust the Tip, which you may already have your business listed on if you've achieved accreditation or any of our other programs. So now I'd like to hand over to Steve Brown from Getaways Essay, who's also one of our judges for the 2021 panel. And Steve will talk through a bit about the submission section. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks for having me. Thanks so much, everyone. Just a bit of an overview about me and our business. We're in our 26th year of business. We've had a few different names and the awards a heap of times. We've got over 60 awards, 3 times South Australian Tourism Hall of Fame, a couple of Australian Tourism Awards, Grand SA Hall of Fame. We pretty much have been addicted to awards. Done a lot for us, the awards. You've got to push the barrier yourself, not wait for someone else to push it. They'll help, but you've got to push it yourself if you win or if you get a medal. If you don't, you're an entrant, you're a finalist. Push the barrier no matter what. It might give you that edge on top. So what we'll do is we'll go through some of the criteria. My goal for you guys today is I want to see you guys up in the winners. So I'll hopefully give you a couple of little hints that I think as a judge we look for. And one of the words would be positive. If there's something negative in your submission, why is it there? You're there to be a winner. So just remember that. All right, we got the switch roll. Okay, what's involved? Choose the category or categories you would like to enter. I was talking to Bridget before from Ross Helicopters. She's not sure what category to go in. It's a lot of effort, but it's actually not that much more effort to go in multiple categories. It's not going to give you more chance to win, but doing the work for one category, maybe consider whether you should go into another category as well. Yes, it's going to cost a bit more money or whatever, but the effort's there, and you might surprise yourself. So there's 25 categories to choose from, so it does make it harder. Read the category descriptor and the questions. Now, there's guides for all these questions. So just remember when you're doing the award submission, look at the guide and go back to it. It's going to be really hard this year. We'll get into it in a minute. There's only 8,000 words. If you've done any award submissions before, most people realise you get almost 30,000 words or something and you have to bring it back. So it's going to be really hard this year to bring it back, I think, for a lot of people. Check the rules of entry, and that's the cost, basically. So what's involved? 8,000 words. So the submission, 70 points. Consumer rating, 20 points. Online review, 10 points. Supporting images and site verification visit. Just to quickly skim over them, obviously the words speak for itself. Consumer rating, that's anything like TripAdvisor, that sort of thing. We've also got Hall of Fame for that, which most people get, I guess, at the end of the day. If you're doing the job right, everyone's business is great. We know that. Judges know that, but they might not know your business. Online review, basically this year what's happening, which has always happened before, is we're going to look at your website, because that's what happens. We are not familiar with your business. We're not all in tourism. I am, but a lot of judges aren't. They can work at banks or whatever, and they've never heard of you before. So don't assume they know your business or your acronyms. Make sure you spell it out during the submission so they know. Supporting images, really important. Picture tells 1,000 words, and it really does. Some of the best submissions I've seen have been graphic designers or graphic artists. I'm not suggesting you have to do that. We never did that ever, but getting someone else that might have a better idea on formatting your images or helping is a good idea. And the site verification visit. Biggest thing here, you go to all this effort and you show your basic offering to a site visit judge. I'm here to tell you these submissions are so close at the end of the day that the site visit can be the difference between a win or a loss, or a win or a silver or a bronze. So whether you think it's the judge is there for a junket, we go out to a lot of places. We travel away from home without our families to do it, or with our families. But regardless, you want to give the best, your top offering to the judges. So there's no mistake, you're going to get 20 points, right? You don't want to be getting 15 points or 13 points. You want 20 points. Images can be maps, infographics, graphs, or a combination of these is the best way to go. What they need to do is support what you're talking about. There's no use having a map on the back page when you're not talking about where you're from. when you start, it's a good idea to have a map there. You have to prioritize what you want to talk about when you're answering that criteria. Collage are a good idea. Just make sure they're good quality and you can see them. If you have a map and I can't read that, that's blurry, even like that there, don't put it in. Because as I said, you could have a banker looking at your submission and he goes, where are you? Like everyone knows that Australia, but that compared to one that's maybe bigger, says McLaren Vale, makes sense, makes it easier to read. If in doubt, use a table. Table and dot points are fantastic. You're trying to convey your story to someone you don't know. You want them to be able to understand it quickly, succinctly. Okay, the key sections, I'll just put these all up next one. So you've got the COVID-19 impacts. Just take notice of that. 0 points. Don't go into great detail. We all were affected by COVID-19. We were driving up to the property, we've got 13 properties up there, going up and shoving it down. 2 vehicles, we sold 3. They're just sitting there doing nothing. We all were impacted. We started doing bring Broth to your door. So we helped 20 businesses, maybe not direct tourism businesses, but a lot of market people that weren't doing markets anymore, sell their product. So we delivered over thousands of products to people around Adelaide. So we just diversified. But not everyone does that. Think about what you did positively. Did you do maintenance? Did you paint a property? Whatever you might have done, it's positive. It's a good idea. Be as positive there. That's going to set the scene for the whole thing. We all get COVID. Oh, sorry. Well, we do. We get. We've all been affected. So we are now checking in. Oh. Was I infected? Well, we did. Yeah. We just had someone actually check in for 14 days. What a great booking. We got a COVID thing they had to fill out. I said, no, from Western Australia. But they were just before it. They actually left early anyway, but yeah. That's what happened. Introduction, 20 points. You're setting the scene. You want to say about your business. So straight away, whoever you're talking to, someone in the street, if they read that, they'd go, I know what you do. Okay, I'm going to use Bridget as an example. We know they've got helicopters. They fly. Not everyone flies in helicopters. That's exciting. So talk about it. Whatever you've got, talk about it and build it up. I won't go into too much detail with that because the guides are fantastic. So really use the guide for your particular business. Business development, 20 points. What have you done in the qualifying period for your business? I'm guessing most of us have done a lot and also not much. So when we were closed down and when there was the 3-day shutdown and when it first happened and everything was shut, there's not much you can do. But try and be as positive as you can. It's from July onwards. So you want to be really positive with that. Marketing speaks for itself. And try and think outside the square for all these things. Marketing, what have you done marketing? If you walk down the street and you talk to someone and they see your shirt, that is marketing. So you don't necessarily say you saw one person and they said, but how you presented yourself. When we were doing Bring Ross to Your Door, we were driving around our buses. We had Getaways Essay volunteer to help us out. So they were driving around as well. So we were helping them out as well. We had our tour guides. Some of our tour guides wanted to help us out. So they were driving around in our vehicles. So people were seeing our vehicles and we shut down. So that sort of thing you want to think of. Customer experience. What sets you apart? What do you do for your customers? Why do they love you? Why do they keep coming back? What's your point of difference? As I said before, the online review, we're going to check your website. If you don't have one, don't mention it, but talk positively, whatever you have, whatever you do online. If it's just Facebook, mention it, but don't leave anything out. Try and keep it distinct. Consumer rating, that comes from Review Pro basically, so and Stella's going to talk about that a bit later. But basically, whatever you get ratings from TripAdvisor and all that sort of thing, that's going to come into it as well.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yep.
Going up in the online.
Yep.
Obviously, there's points in time where you're in the light and the people are practical. When you go on and do you guys go on and read the letter reviews and read the response to the client?
It don't speak for me, no, and we get it. Like most judges get people. Yeah, people like to complain because that's the nature of the community and that's how it is. You're not going to be crucified because you've got someone that said something negative, especially when some other people are so positive.
Is it like how do you respond to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's how review play works as well. Scoring based on that.
Yeah, one thing I will say is this whole process, we did it for so many years and you always think into it. What are they thinking? Have they marked me on, are we going to win? That sort of scenario. You're always on it. It's so transparent. There's 3 judges. There's 1 team leader. I'm a team leader of our group again this year. The team leader doesn't have an overriding say. What it does is help if they've got a problem, understanding something. So we work as a team. And the other thing is, it's really surprising. The first time I judged was we were within 3 points. We don't talk about the submission. We just mark it ourselves and we're all within 3 points in every one of them. So it really does level it out. And if someone's out of we talk about it and find out why. Very, very transparent. Yep. No, what will happen is your site visit judge will go straight to your website. So, and what happened as soon as you nominate and you pay your money, me, I contact. So straight away, I'd on the phone or email, hi, I'd like to come and do a site visit before you've done your submission or anything. So straight into it to get it done. Sounds like a lot of pressure, but you do your stuff all the time. You don't have to get ready for it. It's what you do. But just remember to provide the best you've got to the judge so they know how good you are. That's what it's about. I said one at 20 points. COVID-19 impact your own marks. So as I said before, I've already gone through this. Just give an overview of how you've been affected. Try and be positive about it, which is not easy for some people. Like talking about shutting down properties and selling vehicles and stuff is not really positive. But in saying that, we lost $300,000. We saved $400,000 by reevaluating our business and how we did things. So our profit is very similar to how it was before COVID. And we were out for 3 months. So, we're pretty happy with how things have gone, considering state of play in COVID. So try and think outside the square a little bit. And the fire as well, just before COVID hit, fires happened in Kangaroo Island. We actually rallied, got the forest community, they donated everything through our shop in Tanunda. We had a bus literally loaded to the top and to the back, full of stuff that we took over to Kangaroo Island to drop off, come back, and then COVID hit everyone. So that's the way it goes, I guess. Introduction. Overview, as I said before, of your tourism products, experiences and services, and a bit of the nature and history of the business. People don't know your business, you have to tell them, set the scene. And positive, positive, positive. How does your business demonstrate tourism excellence? Things like TripAdvisor, good reviews. Not all about that, but what do you do that's a point of difference? And once again, why do people love you? Business development. Same big, product experience. How have you demonstrated your recovery? You've all been fairly busy, I assume, fairly recently. We have been, great. And the resilience, what did you do during that period as well? So this is for painting, maintenance, whatever it might have been. Marketing, same thing I thought before. Have you done anything different to attract different markets during this period. Obviously, with the COVID thing, if you looked outside and gone, actually, we need people from within South Australia. We were really targeting overseas before. Obviously, there's no one overseas. What did you do and how did you get that market going? Things like, you never used to see Phil Hoffman, it was all about cruising and stuff like that. All of a sudden, you had SATC supporting them saying, go to Phil Hoffman because they have to survive. So they're changing the way they do things. And the result, everything you talk about growth, don't talk about going down too much. Yes, the COVID thing, but in this, talk about how you've come back, how much you've grown. Not, oh, we grew a bit, 7%, 10%, 100%, 120%, whatever it is, quantify it. Remember, you're talking to someone who doesn't know your business and you're up against really stiff competition. Customer experience. This, I'm sure, this is all of you, but you have to be able to say how this is you. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. But I'm sure you're all awesome. I'm sure your businesses are all awesome. You have to be able to portray that in a submission, full submission, and the business. There we go back. So, as I said, the panel is mixed on who it is. Most have done it before. In fact, you won't have 3 judges that haven't judged before. There'll be someone in that has judged before. So you're going to get some experience there. And the groups, when we meet, we chat about how we're looking at things. Just think of how much work you're putting into it. The judges are reading your 8,000 words and looking at your 25 images, but not just yours, however many people are in your category. So it does take a lot of work. It's enjoyable, it's really good to do, it's good to give back. That's what I'm doing. I like to give back, and we've got a lot out of it. We live on a Esplanade down at Sutherland Park now, and time to give back. Or we volunteer. I wish we got paid for it. It'd be great. But we do get looked after. We get paid an allowance for petrol and that, just to let you know that. It's all very transparent. But yeah, we always spend more than we get an allowance. I can tell you that. Assessment through the submission. 100 points. It's like, oh, that's for the whole thing. Yeah. So yeah, the site visit obviously is very important. You probably won't, if you went to another judge talking about that, probably wouldn't give you the insight that you need to do that. Yep. Yeah, it's 20 points, isn't it? Normally?
So, yeah, one of the changes I'll touch on a bit later on, so the site verification visit, this year won't have a score attached to it, but the page of feedback that you'll receive after your submission feedback is given, the submission judges will have access to that and also meet when they solidify those scores at the consultation day, so that site visit feedback is, it does impact the submission scoring. Yeah.
I don't mind sharing with you, there are some categories that don't have site visits scored in the old days. I've been to a few. Some do it really well and show me the best. Other ones didn't give a rat's, to be perfectly honest. Actually, they didn't win. So now whether it was because of the site visit or not, because I didn't judge their submission, but yeah, it's worth putting the effort in. You're going to put all the effort into this thing. You want to put some effort into that. Each submission is assessed independently by each judge. We don't talk when we do it normally, unless there's an issue. We just go through, do it all, and we'll be really close at the end of it. It's really surprising. What we're looking for? Well, I'm looking for all your businesses to be winners up there. And I don't mind saying that. Just to follow the guidelines, pay attention to what it says the question is. A couple of things I would recommend is you do the submission yourself, get someone else to proofread it. You can't proofread your own work. You'll miss things. It just happens. Good idea is to get someone totally away from your business to proofread it to make sure it makes sense. Acronyms, I'll ask you, what does that mean? What does ABC mean? Really important to do that sort of thing. And readability. They'll know that it's very easy to read. And hopefully they'll tell you it doesn't make sense by saying, well managed financially sound businesses. I'm confident you'll all be financially sound. But you have to demonstrate that as well. Measurable goals and clear outcomes. Sorry? Yep, the actual questions in the submission will ask, what was the result for the financial year, basically? So obviously COVID will be for most people down there, but then hopefully it's gone up. That's where the so graphs can do it. Yeah.
So, but if you're wanting to not give an exact figure, you're welcome to use percentages. So we had an increase or decrease from our previous financial year, so feel free to use percentages. See, the judges don't need, the nitty-gritty financial details, but just to measure.
We're not nosy. The judges, we're doing a job basically, but we're not trying to drill in your business. And if you're a competitor, like we've won in tour and transport thing, if Bridget goes into tour and transport and I happen to judge it, I'm not there to actually mentally judge her business. I'm there to judge her business with criteria. That's what it's about. I think being an open book is a good thing, but whether you use percentages or figures doesn't really matter, to be honest.
And every judge signs a confidentiality agreement before they're brought on board to commence judging. So, that confidence is there.
So when I talk about 5 minutes, I talk about people that may have not done it well. I don't mention names, but I'm happy to say who has done it really well. Separate I didn't judge them, but feedback from other judges, top shelf. They did everything perfectly. That's why they're being quite successful, obviously. Great submission, and they've obviously been really good with site visits as well. They do the top shelf stuff. Clearly stated measurable goals and clear outcomes. So, table's good here. What you're looking for, what you did, and how much it benefited you, basically. That's what you want. And that'll be, there's little examples in the criteria you get, so you can look at that as well and use it. And don't be scared to ask questions. Innovation and strategic approaches. What have you done differently? I think that's going to be pretty easy in this climate because we went way down. Now we're climbing, or we sort of climbed out of it from South Australia. How much growth and how did you get that? And how did you leverage it? Demonstrate clear passion, enthusiasm for business and tourism. That goes without saying. You're here, so you're passionate. If you can't think of anything else to say, so you're here. That's positive, isn't it? This is the big thing. The winner is not necessarily the biggest business or the busiest business or the biggest profit. It's what's in here and how, because it's a submission, it's how good it reads, how good it looks, and the facts are there, and they're undisputed. Case studies whenever you can. When someone's come and stayed with you, they've said you're fantastic, they might have done something different, mention that. Images, I've already said about that. Clear, easy to see, easy to read. If it's not, don't use it. Testimonials, so that can be from a range of sources. You've got suppliers that give you bread, whatever, eggs, and they're happy with you and it's good working with them, use them. You've got staff that reckon you're fantastic, or they've left and they still reckon you're fantastic. Whatever you've got for testimonials, use the best ones. Be accurate. Stats, facts, figures, and comparison. Comparison to previous years was probably not going to be that hard because from July, so before July, we were all sort of pretty well dead. We were good and we did when COVID hit. So, but yeah, try and be as positive as you can. That's really important. I think people that don't come to this, they're probably not going to realise to be positive, and we'll see that in the submission. And that's the qualifying period. 1st of July to 30th of June this year. I'm not sure if there is this year or not. Yeah. You can put a link. Previously, it's not scored to go to that because there's only so much you can do. If you put it there, honestly, judges might look at it, but it's not going to be scored as such. But if it helps, I would put the link there. And I'll be honest, if I've seen a link and if the link doesn't work itself, you don't lose marks for that. But you don't get marks for it. But I'll copy the link and I'll have a look at it. That's honestly what most judges would do. Start early. Here's the big thing. This is probably the biggest hint. Your submission needs to be finished by the 21st of July. That's the, yep. Yeah. Why I say that is if you're going to put it in for feedback, the draft feedback, don't put in something without images, don't put anything only half done, because whatever you put in is what you get back. We're not there to write your submission. All the judges are the same. We'll look at it and go, if you haven't answered any questions, we'll say, this submission needs more work. Maybe answer the questions. So if you're going to do it and you want to put it in a draft submission, get stuck in now, no wait, and put it in for draft submission. You get the feedback, and then you can act on the feedback of your images aren't clear enough. You know, we're not going to tell you that your facts and figures are wrong or anything like that, but we'll basically guide you that you need to clarify this area. And hopefully that helps you get up on the winning stage. That's what we want, or I want. Create a timeline. That's just make sure you know what you're going to do. But I'm just saying, I think that's the timeline. Nothing's going to happen after that to help you win. It's already been done. So yeah, get stuck in it so you get that draft feedback. So make sure you nominee support available. Follow the entry guidebook. Engage all staff in the process. I was talking to Bridget before as well. I said, involve your staff in the actual submission. Just their feedback. They don't have to write it, but just what they think. Ask them the question. Get what they say. They might have a different point of view to you, and you can use that and leverage it. If you've entered in the past, you just review judges' feedback from previous years. That's probably, honestly, I don't think that's going to be as crucial this year. It'll help, but because it's 8,000 words way down, you're going to be struggling to get it all in, I think.
Can you explain the judges, what can happen?
Yep, you can put in a draft submission. So you put it in, that gets farmed out to judges. It might not be the judge that's going to judge you in the end, and then they give you feedback on your submission. So it's basically getting judged before you judge. Yeah, it's a free hit. So it's a lot of work, but I think it's definitely worth doing. I know a lot of people haven't done it before. I've got one before and I've gone, I haven't said anything. I don't know much. You know, there's no use putting in and expecting help because it's all fair and transparent. So yeah, that's just why I know it's putting extra pressure on you, but I'd recommend it. Yeah.
So key dates are just on the back of our run sheet for today for anyone who's wanting to reference. So that's that 21st of July draft submission due date, and you'll receive that judge's feedback. I think it can be within a week up to 2 weeks, which gives you a good 2 weeks to refine it before submitting.
Any questions?